Hello everyone, welcome to Subway Builder. Last time we paid attention to the city of The Hague, Den Haag, and we extended this light rail system into a tram network over here in the west of the city. These are just two tram lines. In real life there are a few more. I'm not sure how many exactly. But what I wanted to do this time is turn our attention back to the city of Rotterdam. Not this city, that's Delft. Uh, we'll pay attention to Delft later also and other cities in between. But let's go back to Rotterdam, because so far we've only focused on the city center mostly and the south area of the city. But there are many more outskirts and suburbs and other cities that we should connect. And what I wanted to do this time is to look at the train system again. So in reality, there is a train not just going to Den Haag and to the south, but there's also a train going northeast towards a city that is just off the map, that's somewhere over here, Gouda, and then to Utrecht, which is a major city in the Netherlands. There's even a high-speed rail that directly goes towards Amsterdam, which is also northeast of here. But of course, this map does not contain all those areas. It does not include any demand over here. The map pretends that there are no cities over here, even though there are major cities outside of this. But we do have some train stations that are on this line that go towards other cities. So I thought it would be a good idea to extend our railway network, the train network, towards the northeast so that we can satisfy these demand bubbles over here. So as always, let me first put the locations of train stations in real life, and then I will see which ones we keep given the demand data of this custom map, which is not always accurate. So I've added the locations of train stations, and as you see they go in this direction. And first we need to split off from this yellow line over here. If there was room, I would add another platform. I can try, but I think it will be quite tight. Also, let me check the height of this station. Oh, I did something wrong. So the station is at -5, so it's below ground, even though it's a train station. What we could do is see if we can build a station on top of it then. So for example, well, 0 will give us trouble with these roads, but maybe at +5. And of course we need to be careful to not destroy any buildings over here. So we can just literally go on top maybe at +5. Yes. So this is totally not what happens in real life, I think, on this station, but at least it will be part of a station group, hopefully. Yes, this is the station group. Then this is our new one, which we call Rotterdam Centraal North. So this will be our above ground train, while this yellow track is below ground. And then one thing I need to check is where this train actually moves up north in real life. So let's check that. Yes, it goes north over here, west of this zoo over here. So let's see if we can manage that. So of course I'm using heavy metro because I've been using that to simulate the train lines. So we don't connect to the other line, of course, but we will have to move. Let's see. Go like this, like this. So it's just going on top of the other station, and then like this. And then over here it can make this curve. I think the other line at some point it went above ground also. So now we just follow this outline over here towards this station over there. But let's first check the demand, because this is to satisfy this demand over here. So in real life, this is the location of the station. This demand is satisfied by the metro already. I think I would like to move this station a little bit further to the west, because these demand bubbles are a little bit different from real life. So let me do that. We'll build the train station somewhere over here, for example. And we rename it to station Rotterdam North, even though it's not exactly at the same location as in real life. And then we can check where we want our next station to be. So in real life, the next train station is over there. I think this one, not all trains stop there in real life, but just like over here, we don't have an express service or intercity network for the train. We just let the train stop everywhere. So we also don't want too many stations, but in real life there are a few over here. And I think the intercity track only stops at this one, which is Rotterdam Alexander. But let's check if we want to have any other stations in between. So there are some demand bubbles, but they are fairly small. And over here you see the larger demand bubbles due to this being an intercity station. So I think we just keep this as in real life. The location of the station is fine, people can walk to it. So let's keep building our track, and we stay above ground, because in real life this is also an above ground train network. Let's see on which side of the highway do we want to be. South of it. Oh, there's a building. I don't know what kind of building is right in the middle of a railway track. Actually, I think it would be a good idea, because this is a fairly long stretch where we do not need to cross any roads. It would be a good idea to go to 4 meters, because that is more than half as cheap. It's 0.3 times the cost, where 5 meters is 0.8 times the cost, compared to having, I think, something at 0 meters. But here we need to move up. And maybe here already we need to move up. Else we cannot cross the highway. And then we will have to build our station and avoid destroying any buildings. So our station will be at plus 5 meters, and we will put it over here. And we will call this Rotterdam Alexander. And then our next station is over here, in real life at least. And I think it makes sense to have it here in the game as well. But this one we can move a bit more south. So let's build the stations already. Over here. Delete this one. So that is station Nieuwerkerk aan de IJssel. Fun fact, in Dutch we have a letter that is an I and a J together. We call this the lange I. It's the name of the letter. It's an official letter in our alphabet. So if a word starts with it and it's a name, you should have two capital, well, this letter should be a capital letter. So that's why it looks like that. And the station over here, which we also wanted to keep in the same location. Let's see, it would be nice if we go right in the middle of these buildings without destroying them. Perfect. This one we call Capelle Sollevaar. And then all we need to do is connect them. And of course, not forget the transfer track. Are there any buildings here? No. So let's connect these. This is very different from playing the official American maps that are in the game, because I never see these locations where there's a railway track or a metro track in real life, because there's so little public transport in those maps. So this feels like, okay, it's just meant to be this way. Same with the demand bubbles. And that's with an unofficial map. Alright, so this train network continues northeast, but as this map does not reach that part, we'll stop it here. We could continue over here. Let me see what's there in real life, actually. It's just a really small village. But in this game, in this custom map, the demand is huge for this really small village. Look. These are all the buildings. That's it. There are a few more. Okay, there are a few more houses. It's not that small, but still. I've never heard of this village. It's called Klein Hitland. If you've heard of this village, or if you come from close to there, let me know in the comments. But this is such a small village, and that's, yeah, why some things are off in this custom map. It has even some worker demand and some residential demand. So what we could do, just because there's no other way in which I would connect that village, is even though in real life the train tracks continue this way towards other cities, which are not in this map, let's connect a small village. Why not? It will be fun. So we build a station. No, we first move in that direction, because we will not destroy any buildings for this project. Project Klein Hitland has now started. So this feels more like what I do on the American maps, following roads, avoiding destroying any buildings. This will be a tight curve. We can do it. And then there's so much water here also. We are quite, yeah, I think it's fine if we do not completely avoid this water. So we follow this road, the Hitlandselaan, towards Klein Hitland. This is the first time I see something that I've never heard of in real life. Where is this demand? Right over here. So we can just build a station here, and then we're done. This is the edge of the map after all. So that's where this train line goes, which is a heavy metro here, so it's not that unrealistic to have a heavy metro go to an outskirt village. Yeah, let's give this the name, even though there's no station here in real life as far as I know. Klein Hitland. And if I look on OpenStreetMap, I see they have 2 electric chargers for electric vehicles, and that's it. I cannot see on OpenStreetMap if there's a bus line. There might be, but I'm not sure. Alright, that is our line. So partly realistic, but it stops even though it should go to other cities, and partly unrealistic to see this, to connect this small village, but it will help us in getting more demand. So this is an interesting area. There are a lot of demand bubbles, so maybe later we will expand this area. But for now, let's see if we have the budget to build this. And It will take quite a lot, almost a billion, but we have almost 2 billion now. So let's build this. And then we have a new, oh, train line, I wanted to say. I see a warning. One train stuck due to signal blockage. R3. Which one is R3? It's one of these. How do I know which one it is? Signal blockage. Is that just some event, or is there, are the trains in the way? I'm not sure. How do I know? It's this line, but how do I know something is wrong? Sure, there are two trains here, but why does it matter? You know what we can do? In case, just in case it is this train, we could build crossovers at this station. Maybe it helps. And then let's check the other trains at R3. There's this one with zero passengers. It could be something related to this. Just to be sure, let's add some crossovers here as well. Alright, let's build this, see if it solves the issue. There are some capacity warnings. I will not care about that for now. Alright, where were we? Yes, we wanted to build a new train line in this newly built train area. So let's do that. We add a T, let's call it T3. And maybe we don't need these T's in front, let's just call this 3. It will be heavy metro. And we start at the right station over here. So Rotterdam Centraal North. And then it goes to Rotterdam North. No valid path. Okay, we need a crossover here probably. Cancel edit. Build a crossover. Build. Let's try again. This is 3. It's a square because I'm using that for trains. Edit. Start at Rotterdam Centraal North line. Move towards station Rotterdam North. That works. Go to this station, Rotterdam Alexander, Capellesboulevard, Nieuwekerk aan de IJssel, and Klein Hitland as the endpoint. Right. This is our line. Takes only 18 minutes, so we can just have, well, we can have 2 trains with a 19-minute frequency. Then during the night only 1 train. Because this is a train, I want to actually increase the capacity, because I see that all the other lines, they have capacity issues. So let's buy a few more trains and then do that. And then let's see how this is going. So we have our new 3 line, the heavy metro. Let's follow this train. And everything seems to be in order, although there is no demand yet. Oh, there's our first person walking towards this station over here. How do they travel? They take line 3 from Rotterdam Alexander to Rotterdam Centraal North. Then they go to the metro. They ride the A line to Wilhelminaplein, and then they go to work here. Great. There are also some people driving because they might not be aware of this superior train station over here, and they might need to walk quite some distance, but that's okay. So we have a new train line. Let's build more. So another thing I wanted to do was to extend this train line over here southward. There are a few lines there. There's a high-speed rail line that goes to Belgium and France. But there's also just a normal train line that skips a few stations, so an intercity, and a sprinter train that stops at every train station. And probably there's one over here because I see some demand bubbles. I'm not sure what this is about. This is a village called Ridderkerk. I think there's no tram, no train. Maybe there's a bus, probably, because people need to get there somehow, even if they have no car. And then here there might be another station, but I'm not sure what this is. So what I will do, I will see where the real life train stations are of this line that continues south. Of course, eventually they will move off the map and towards areas of the map where we have no demand anymore. But just the relevant stations I will add, and then we will see if we keep them. So I've added the stations. There are only two. There's one over here, and then somewhere over here, but there's these. This is an area that is not part of the map because, as we see, the demand stops there. So this is the last one. So I think we might want to change a little bit where we want to put this. Although it is nice as a central hub, and maybe we can have some kind of bus or tram line or metro line in this area. This is the village Zwijndrecht. We also have this village over here, which is Barendrecht, which is more of a suburb of Rotterdam. So let's move here first. I think what we can do, also given this worker demand, yeah, I thought about having two stations here, but maybe for train it doesn't really make sense. So of course for a metro it's fine. We also have this over here. So this is actually a metro network which has stations fairly close to each other, also here. But for the train, the closest I think are these two stations. And as you see, well, actually in Den Haag there are also a few stations quite close to each other, even though they are train lines. But for a village that's outside the main city, I think one station will suffice. Maybe just put it even a little bit more to the north here, and then later we can see if we can add some kind of tram or metro line in this village. So that's what I will do. I will build a station, and maybe we can go at ground level even. I will build it over here. We will destroy this, and this is light metro, never mind. We will build heavy metro because this is representing a train station. So this is Barendrecht station. Some of you are somewhat familiar with the Netherlands might have heard of the city of Dordrecht, which is a bit larger city, but yeah, medium size, let's say. Barendrecht is one of the cities in that region, so it's between Rotterdam and Dordrecht. The next train station will also have Drecht in the name. Alright, here we are at 4 meters above ground, so we need to move higher, because at 4 meters we cannot cross this road. And we need to move up to cross the road, like this. Then there's another crossing over there, so we could go down to 4 meters again, but I don't want the train to go up and down too much. And over here it will cross the highway with 4 meters above ground. And then as our train station is right there, we want to connect it, like so. Then we keep going at 0 meters above ground. But we will need to move up at some point to be able to cross this road, or down. Actually, is this an underground station? I'm not sure. Maybe in real life it's underground, but let's stay above ground. in this game, in this map. So we cross that road, we cross another road, and another one. And then, let's see, where do we need to go? All the way over there. Yeah, we need to determine what we want here. I think just having one train station is enough. We might want to move it a little bit more this way. So let's build a station at 5 meters above ground, like so. And we will give this station the name also. The name of this station is Zwijndrecht, so also has Drecht in the name. The next station would be Dordrecht, which is over here, but it's just outside of this map. So we keep, I think here we can go down to 4 meters, not lower. 4 meters just makes everything cheaper. Let's avoid the water. And here is the road again, so we need to go to 5 meters. Then we can stay at 5, it's fine. Just so we can cross the road at the end here and connect to the station. Of course, we need a crossover. Then we check the budget. It costs 364 million. Let's build. And then what we want to do is extend this line over here, which I was going to rename. So 3 is the line that goes this way. And T1 is this line. Let's just call it 1. And then we have 2, which is this line. So line 1 we need to extend. It goes to Barendrecht also now. Yes. And to Zwijndrecht. And we will probably need more capacity, because now we have a train every 18 minutes. Let's change to every 14 minutes, 36 in the night. Then the last thing I wanted to do is rename these other lines. So this one, it is the Randstadrail, but let's just call it 3. This one we call 4, because we see at the triangle that this is not a metro or train. It's the light rail, they call it the Randstadrail. And then the last thing is I want to rename these letters so they represent better the real life names of these lines, because they are based on real lines. They somewhere in some places they are a bit different from the real line, like this. This doesn't happen at all in real life. But mostly they, and also this part, they don't go via the airport. But mostly they follow, these lines follow, are similar between the game and the real life. So let me check the names of these metro lines. Alright, this green line, actually in real life there are 3 green lines, but this part, they are called A, B, and C line. And this part I think is the same for all of them. Yeah, well, except for this, because this is different from real life. But after that, in the east and in the west, they change a little bit. So they go in, they split off in different directions. But we have an A, B, and C line. Let's keep it at B for now. Or maybe we can call it ABC, just so we know. And then later we will change it. So these are actually 3 lines in real life. This cyan or bluish line over here, we have a D line and an E line. So they're a bit similar. This one, in real life, it continues a bit further. It continues to the south. But this one is most similar to the E line in real life. And this one, that's the entire line. Well, okay. In real life, the E line does this, so this is correct, actually. This one does not exist. There's no line that stops here, but it stops a bit further. And the D line actually, this one is most similar to the D line, but it continues a bit to halfway towards Den Haag for some reason. So I'm not sure what we should do with this. I think it would make most sense if we have, well, let's give it a temporary name. If we have this as the E line, because it's most, well, it's in the spirit of the E line, not going all the way to the south over here, like the other line does, but stopping somewhere while it starts in Den Haag. This one is most similar to the D line in real life. So it starts at this, it doesn't go all the way to Den Haag, although in real life it does continue a little bit north. And then this one, well, right now it's the most similar to the E line, but there's no line that goes from Den Haag to the end point in the south. So let's give this one a new name, F, which does not exist in real life. And there we have it. We have renamed the lines. I see this is yellow for some reason. Why? I probably did not hit save. Okay, let's do this again. And then confirm the changes. Okay, now it's yellow. And with that, we have several new routes. We have some trains that are near capacity, but that's okay. And yeah, this is our metro network, our train network, our light rail network, everything. What I want to do next time is, now that we've extended these railways, I want to extend these west-east metro line of Rotterdam. But there's another thing that I might do, and that is to work on some kind of ferry system. So this large river, the Maas, also has ferries. So maybe we will do that next time, else somewhere in the future. For now, I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time.